Now, tenants in common, let's say that we had siblings and they owned a piece of property as tenants in common. So we had one sibling that owned 50% tenant in common and the other one owned 50% tenant in common. That's great while you're alive. And also it's great if you guys decided to sell the property and you both were alive. But here's the problem with tenants in common is, let's say you passed away and all of a sudden your sister's like, I want to sell this property now. Here's the problem. Tenants in common means you own 50%, she owns 50%. And when you die, your 50% still owned by you. But remember, we talked about this in the really long video that we did, when you die, you lose your signature. So you're no longer alive to sign your 50% of the ownership to sell the property or to move it over to your sister or whatever. So it ends up having to go to court and go through probate. So a better way to handle that type of a situation, especially if you've got investment properties, then you and your sister would say, hey, let's buy this investment property. We're going to own it 50-50, but let's set up an LLC. And then you set up this LLC, you each own 50%, and then the title of that property moves over to the LLC. That's another, probably a better way to handle that, just so that, again, there's some liability protection, and then also there is ownership. So that in that situation, if either of you passed away, the LLC operating agreement can stipulate like what happens and who has the authority to sell or to do whatever needs to happen there.